Hey, good morning, everybody. We are getting ready to go live for Leadership and Laugh with Pete and Brian. It's about 8 o'clock today. What is today?
Hey,
Wednesday.
today is Wednesday, June
Brian's
17th.
here. Brian, you here?
Yeah. Hey, how's it going?
Okay, hold on one second while I plug my mic. All right, talk to me again, Brian.
Well, hi. Good morning to Tradville and Joseph and Terry and Buglet. Michael G is on. You know what we don't have, though, Pete? We don't have music.
Oh, my word, it's time for the opening song, buddy. Allow me to get us started here.
It's time for leadership and laughs with Pete and Brian. And now here are your hosts, Pete and Brian Baggy.
Hey. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. We're glad to have all of our friends with us for another great edition of Leadership and Laughs. If you only knew what happened the 5 minutes before the show, you would wonder how this even gets on the air. Oh, mercy. Brian, what's happening, buddy? It's good to see you. I see you on my little Zoom account here. How's it going out in Colorado?
Pete and I are Zooming live, which is really just only good for us. You don't need to be looking at us this early in the morning. But I'm having a little coffee here, Pete, in beautiful Denver, Colorado, and things are going well.
That's awesome, buddy.
What about with you? You're back from vacation?
Yeah, apparently I was on vacation as all of the notifications are already telling me it's Wednesday because apparently I just said happy Thursday, everybody. So I'm still on beach time, Brian. I spent a week at Panama City Beach. As you remember, as we recorded live from the beach last week, and you could tell it was totally different than our regular shows.
Yeah, live from the beach. I believe
It sounded exactly the same, I think. It's not like there's any waves in the background or anything. Pretty excited to have my son graduate from high school yesterday, buddy. So
Yay!
he had an official high school graduation, and they had the whole thing where they could they were on the football field, and they had social distancing, at least during the ceremony. After the ceremony, it was a free-for-all, and everybody's hugging everybody. So you will see the COVID-19 numbers in Trussville rise dramatically in approximately 10 to 14 days.
Excellent.
So, yeah, I mean, trying to keep high school kids, like one of my best friends, not counting you, so my second best friend, he's a high school teacher there, and his job was to stand there as they were walking in and tell each of them 6 feet apart, 6 feet apart, 6 feet apart, and they would start walking in 6 feet apart, and by the time they got seated, they were like 8 inches up.
Yeah.
They just for some reason at that age it's just very difficult for them to understand the importance. But they all wore masks, and it was really cool the way the stadium was set up. Everybody had to have a mask to come in, and they had the whole stadium taped off where you could only have 4 people sitting together, and they had huge 6 to 18 feet barriers in between, and it was every other row, and they used both sides. So it was really well done by the school system to allow the kids to have that experience while still wearing masks and social distancing and all that. So it was pretty exciting last night.
That's great. That's awesome. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I love it too, man. It's kids are growing up and life is going on. I know all of our friends who are listening, have a lot of you have kids in that area, and so it's kind of one of those weird things when they start getting to that high school graduation age. You've got 2 that are getting close.
Yeah, my oldest daughter, she'll be graduating from high school next year. We'll see.
Man.
We'll see how things are going then. But you hit the nail on the head when you talk about people at that age. By and large, you remember what it was like. You kind of feel untouchable.
Oh yeah, you're not. Yeah, I mean, you can do anything you want. Nothing bad's going to happen to you. So it's pretty cool. Let's get started. We're glad to have. We've got some good listeners, our regular friends today. It's time to lead off lead off with Brian. Brian gets us some leading off stories in the news that are kind of interesting and get us talking about leadership a little bit. So great way to get our Wednesday started. So let's talk leadership and laughs, buddy. Get us started.
All right. So Pete, police in Switzerland are looking for a forgetful individual who left something rather important on a train, and that would be a package full of gold bars. A package full of gold worth more than $190,000. Uh-oh. Yeah, it was left on a train that was traveling northeast up to Lucerne, Switzerland. And despite extensive investigations, the owner of the nearly $200,000 worth of gold in a bag has not been tracked down or come forward. How do you feel about this?
Well, keep going, buddy.
Oh, there you are. You're back. All right. So, anyway, I was just going to say that apparently I was in Switzerland the other week. I would like to claim this for myself.
Yeah, I was just asking what is the one thing that you've left behind, like somewhere? Well, all of us leave things behind.
I told you, a package of gold worth almost $200,000. I'll tell you, one thing that I left behind was I was standing in line to pay for a semester's worth of college, my first year in college, and I had a little, those you go to withdraw the cash from a bank account,
right?
And I had an envelope full of cash, and somehow I lost it.
How much was it?
I had an envelope of cash to pay for, I think it was my very first semester in college, and it was about $600, I think.
Oh my word!
Which number
back
one
in the day,
that's a lot of money to just lose while
money.
You're standing in line and somebody else picked it up. But
right.
But also, it's interesting to note that college is a lot more expensive now.
Man, I was going with just keys. Sometimes I leave my keys behind. Sometimes, my wife right now is big on leaving her phone behind. It's always whenever you get out of a car, where's my phone? Or if we go, where's my phone? I got it on my phone. A lot of us are connected to our phones. I can't imagine having the bag with all these gold bars in it and not knowing where it is. Michael says he'd like to just have one of the bars to kind of get get going. Just one bar. One bar would be great. So good gravy.
All right. Well,
good.
Let's move along. Yeah. So, you heard that the Oscars are canceled due to coronavirus. They're not going to have the Oscars. However, the Emmys have just recently announced that they are going to go forward. They're going to have the Emmys, Pete. Yay.
Okay.
Hit me with the yay button. The Emmys are going to happen. There it is.
Did you not bring yourself a bell today? Or you just can't bell yourself, can you?
You know what? No, I'm going to bell Tradville because Tradville is correct. The Oscars are postponed, not canceled. I used the wrong word. But the point is that the Emmys are going to move forward, and they're going to happen, and Jimmy Kimmel is going to host.
It's a go. Okay. What's the leadership lesson in that?
Right. So Jimmy Kimmel is going to host the Emmys. Again, the Emmys is going forward, and Jimmy Kimmel is going to host. Pete, you're supposed to do the leadership lesson.
Yeah, I know. And, here's and again, I've got to be real careful with my Hollywood comments because one day we might get a huge Hollywood contract and we want to be part of that group. Right. But, there's so many things that they, I got to be careful with this, that they think they take the lead on, whether it's social justice issues or whether it's, look what we're doing. And really, when you see and hear how some of these people are like living, in fact, I read the other day that Beverly Hills created, the city of Beverly Hills, where a lot of celebrities live, created an autonomous zone that prohibits any type of protesting of any type between the hours of 9 p.m. and 7 a.m. in their neighborhoods. So,
Okay.
so they're the ones giving money to all the causes and go out there and do that. But NIMBY, Brian,
That would
NIMBY,
be not in Brian's backyard.
that'd be NIMBY. So not in my backyard. So, yeah. All right. Well, I'm looking forward. And one more for all of our listeners. What's the EGOT? If you want to type in what the EGOT is, if you hear about a national celebrity getting the EGOT, if you can type in what the answer to that is, you will get a free Leadership and Laughs T-shirt.
That's
to the first
right.
person who tells us what the EGOT is.
Yeah,
So, Treadville, Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Troy. No, not Troy. I'm sorry, Tony. I'm still on vacation. Atta girl, Treadville. We'll put you down for your 7th T-shirt of the year. All right, Brian, you got one more. Keep us going, buddy.
I got 2 more. You ready for this?
My word.
This is a quick one.
All right.
So I don't know if you heard this, but this is related to, your kids, one graduating from college, one off to college. Harvard has announced that it is dropping its requirements that students submit standardized test scores.
Yes,
so as part of the application, they're not gonna. They're making SAT and ACT test scores optional this year because of the difficulty and possibility of retaking tests amid shutdowns caused by.
Is this going to be is this just a 1-year thing based on COVID, or does this relate to the whole social issues of our time, where a lot of people think that entrance exams based on data have some discriminatory factors to them? Which side are they coming from?
They're announcing that this is COVID-19 pandemic related.
Okay.
However, you never know, right? It could possibly sort of spin into that. But their quote was, "We understand that COVID-19 pandemic has created insurmountable challenges in scheduling tests." And then here's the
kicker, the bottom line.
Thank you.
Fly in the ointment. The ends to the means.
They say
the final word.
Not the final word, but it kind of hinges on this, particularly those from modest economic backgrounds. Yeah. And we believe this temporary change addresses these challenges. So they are calling it a temporary change, but they're also acknowledging that students from more modest economic backgrounds are having a more difficult time in actually scheduling those standardized tests.
Well, you and I both have a lot of friends in higher education, and there's back and forth research on whether tests have any type of, this SAT and this ACT goes back and forth. Brian, I'll take you back to the mid '80s, where I'm proud to say that my SAT score was 1040 out of 1600, and that got you into the University of Florida. Today, the only school I could get into with that is University of Alabama. Oh, that just happened. Oh, I'm just kidding. My kids go to Alabama. I'm just kidding. But the point being, standardized tests. Yeah, I mean, there's there's a lot of stuff going on with standardized testing, and so I like the idea that if let's not penalize the kids because of all this stuff going on. Right now. So I appreciate that. All right, good. All right. One more, buddy. Let's go. I'm loving them.
Last one, Pete. Do you have an extra $75,000 kicking around? Do you have $75,000 in your pocket?
Now that one of my children is done through college, yes, I might have some extra cash lying around.
Well, if you do have $75,000, Boston Dynamics announced on Tuesday that they're going to be selling their 4-legged dog Spot robots. So that's right, a dog robot.
Very good. I love it. What can this dog robot do for me, Brian?
Have you seen the videos on YouTube of these? I think they're terrifying animal-like robots. And you can buy ones. They're $75,000, but you have to promise that you're not going to use it to harm or intimidate anyone. These agile robots can walk, they can climb stairs, they can observe their surroundings with with cameras and other sensors. But you have to agree not to arm them or intentionally use them as weapons.
Yes.
Now,
Do not strap any weapons to the back of your robotic dog.
oh my gosh! So the company's vice president for business development is a guy named Michael Perry. Says the key goal for us is to make sure that people trust robots. He says somebody wanted to use Spot for a haunted house, and we said no to that. So,
Wow.
yeah.
I mean, that's just, and I love the American free spirit, and I love creating new things, and I love this idea. And someone sitting around going, you know what we ought to create right now? A robot dog, and that's that kind of stuff. But my question is the end user. Like, how much extra money do you have to have lying around where you go, that's something I want to invest in? That's a good.
I don't
That's
know.
a good use of money.
They said in one recent pilot over in Singapore, one of these Spot robots was sent out into a public park to broadcast pre-recorded messages that were asking people to maintain social distance. So can you imagine you're out in a park and this robot dog walks up to you and says, please remember to social distance?
Oh, he speaks English. I thought he was going out going, ruff, ruff, ruff. I'm sorry, I don't speak robot dog. Hey, that's good stuff. That's leading off with Brian. Good way to just get the show started today, but it's time for one of my favorite sections, Brian. Joseph B says it's a Father's Day gift. This is where we take a look at leadership lessons, buddy, and we look at some leaders who make questionable decisions. They make uncertain decisions. They make the wrong decisions. They're struggling, and it leads you to ask the world-famous question,
they did what?
Oh, man, we're doing a sports-related they did what today, buddy. So we're going total current events, total sports, so bear with me on these. If you're not a sports fan, I think you'll enjoy this. Brian, do you like Major League Baseball?
Everybody likes Major League Baseball, Pete.
No doubt. So you would be a Colorado Rockies fan?
I am a giant Colorado Rockies fan. We love to watch the boys up there in Coors Field.
I grew up in the Tampa-St. Pete area. That makes me a Tampa Bay Rays, or if you will, a Devil Rays, to be a politically incorrect fan. There's the Yankee fans coming out of the woodwork. And so let's talk about the commissioner, Brian. I do one of my future books, and one of my talks is called Pick Up the Roach, as you are aware. If I can get a bell for Pick Up the Roach, if you don't. I love when I have to tell you. Does it totally take away the magic of the bell when I say give me a bell?
Kinda. Well, I didn't think I had to. I didn't think I had to validate the fact that you wrote a book called Pick Up the Roach.
So one of the 6 leadership traits I talk about there is called live up. Live up. And live up, Brian, is leaders do what they say. And I spend a lot of time talking about the importance of your words matching up with your actions. So don't put something out there. Don't say it if you're not going to back it up. Well, let's talk about what's going on in Major League Baseball. For those of you who don't follow along, a lot of struggles going on between the players union and the owners, and who's going to play and when are they going to play and are they going to start the season and all of that. So during the Major League Baseball draft, which was held just last week, the commissioner of Major League Baseball, Brian, Rob Manfred, said the following. He is, quote, 100% confident, with absolute certainty, there will be a Major League Baseball season this year. It is going to happen.
Okay.
So fast forward, not just 72 hours later, on another interview when he asked, now a few days ago you said we're going to play, and he responded, I'm not confident there's going to be a season at all this year.
Wow. That was
so the same commissioner of baseball within 72 hours says, yes, 100%. I promise we will have a season. And then now there's all kinds of things going on because, if they cancel the season, rather than implement, say, like 48 games, the owners would save about $1.2 billion. And again, they might lose another $1 billion with these lawsuits that are coming out with the players who are losing money because they're not playing. And there's COVID-19 and they have to have the fans in the stands and all that stuff. But here's the Players Association. Here's what they said, quote, Players are disgusted that after Rob Manfred
Unequivocally.
thank you, told players and fans that they would 100% be a 2020 baseball season, he's decided to go back on his word and is now threatening to cancel the entire season. This is one more indication that the Major League Baseball is negotiating in bad faith since the very beginning. So again, this is just a reminder to all of us, Brian. They did what today? They said something and didn't live up to it. So we see this in politics, Brian. We see it in local leadership. We see it in national leadership. We see it, maybe in our churches or in our synagogues. We see it. If you're going to say something, Brian, this goes true with being a parent as well.
Thank
you have to follow through. How many times do we give idle threats to our kids? If you do that one more time, you're never leaving this house again.
Absolutely.
You're like, really? Really?
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got to make sure that we're following our words. All right. This next one is going to make you say something, Brian. Hold on a second. This next story is going to make you say,
Pete,
They did what?
oh, you hit it on that one. If your mom's listening, she's horrifying. All right, Brian, speaking of sports, where's the National Basketball Association going to play their season? Their season is on. Do you happen to know where they are playing in just a few weeks?
Oh, they are 100% going to play this year, Pete. I'm saying it as the NBA commissioner.
Right.
No, they are going to be playing, I believe, the rest of this season at Disney's Wide World of Sports. Am I correct?
That is correct. The magical world of Walt Disney World, as all of our Disney employees are excited about that the NBA teams will be headed down to Walt Disney World. And as came out yesterday, there are 3 Disney hotels that all the players will be staying at. The irony is the top teams, those who are going to have the best schedule, such as, the highest, schedule so far, the best winning percentage, are going to go to the new Grand Destino, which is at the Coronado Springs. Ironically enough, it's the cheapest of the hotels that are on this list, but it is very nice and fancy. So the places like the Milwaukee Bucks, the Lakers, the Clippers, the Celtics, they're all staying at the Grand Destino. The second hotel is on the monorail line, Brian. It's one of the flagship hotels at Disney. It is the Grand Floridian, where rooms start at $700 a night. And teams like the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Houston Rockets, and your Orlando Magic will be staying at the Grand Floridian.
Ooh, can I guess what the third one is?
We want to take a guess?
I want to take a guess.
All right, go ahead.
Is it the Ramada Inn on US 192?
It is the Super 8 in Kissimmee. No. It is the Disney's Yacht Club Resort, Brian. Disney
very nice.
Club, where rooms start at $487 for the New Orleans Pelicans, the Phoenix Suns, the Portland Trail Blazers, so on and so forth. But that's not the news, Brian. That's not the they did what. I haven't even gotten to the they did what yet. So let me tell you a little bit about what the players will be doing while they're down there. Okay, pretty much every hotel amenity will be at their disposal, plus movie nights, outdoor entertainment. They can go to the other games at the Wide World of Sports. They'll have players-only lounges where they can play video games and watch TVs. They can use certain pools just for them because the resorts are not open to other guests. They'll have barbers, manicurists, and pedicurists on site for them, a 24-hour VIP concierge. They'll have movie screenings, video games, ping pong, the pools, lawn games. They'll have their own culinary teams from Disney that will be feeding them 3 meals a day and 4 meals a day if they are having a game that
hungry.
If they're extra hungry, you get 4 meals a day. And each team is going to have a 35-person traveling party of players, coaches, trainers. And here's what happens, O'Brien. If you leave the campus without permission, if you leave the NBA bubble down there, you are going to face a 10 to 14-day quarantine and have your pay cut. So, sounds like a good scenario to me as far as a job goes. The they did what falls into, would you believe there are some players who think this is a bad idea? There are some players who are thinking that's not right for us to be down there. There are some players who may be tweeting out that I can't believe they're going to keep us in this bubble. There are a few players. And so, I just think that's kind of interesting that doesn't sound like that's enough. I mean, I get you've got to be isolated and all of that, but to be unhappy about that, to me, sounds like quite the challenge.
Tall people did what?
Yes, exactly.
Can you imagine going to one of those movie nights and having to sit behind like 4 NBA teams?
Excuse me, sir. Could you remove your chapeau, please? I cannot see. That's not my chapeau, sir. I'm 7'9". Oh, yeah. I am sorry. Exactly. All right. Well, let's do one more final story, keeping in the world of sports, Brian, that's going to make all of you ask the world famous leadership question.
They did what?
Brian, are you a NASCAR fan? I want a yes or no from our listeners today. Go ahead and type in for me, NASCAR yes or NASCAR no. Tell me if you are, a fan of any kind. How about you, Brian?
My understanding, so no, I'm not at all a NASCAR fan. However, my understanding is that it's a lot like, for me, Pete, watching soccer on TV is boring unless it's a gold medal Olympics,
right. A World Cup final or something like
final,
that.
Exactly.
Thank you, Tradville. As a former soccer player, yeah. I played 8 years of professional youth league soccer.
Now, hold on a second. What I said was watching on TV soccer, not that exciting. However, going to a live game, exciting. And I wonder if it's the same for NASCAR. I've never been to a NASCAR race. The only time I've ever watched NASCAR is if I was flipping around and the Daytona 500 happened to be on. But
yes.
But from my understanding, going to a NASCAR race can be quite the event.
It is. I have been to quite a few, and it will change the way that you view it. One of our friends, Anthony, who's listening, texted in. I'm not sure if he's being political or funny. He goes, I don't like NASCAR. They're always left. And I don't know if that means that
they're always turning left. Yes,
they're always turning left, or if they're starting to lean left as an organization, which takes us into today's They Did What? Sunday afternoon, Brian, the drivers returned home for a race to the Homestead Miami Speedway. Now, this is the first time that fans could attend a race this past Sunday, albeit on a limited basis. And it's the first time that NASCAR had an event since they banned the Confederate flag.
Okay.
So the majority of viewers who were there were focused on the weather, and we're not here again. We try to keep politics out of this because we'd like to have a good time in our show. So whether you agree with them making this decision or not, you can just follow any Twitter feed to find out about what people think about the Confederate flag being flown or not. But here is the They Did What, Brian. The sponsor, the sponsor for the race on Sunday was the Dixie Vodka 400.
Of course.
So on their first race back that is sponsored by Dixie Vodka is also the first race where they decided to ban the Confederate flag. So it's just so funny to me. Like we have to be real careful down this slope. And again, I don't have a position on this really. I do have a position. I'm not going to share it. But my point is, once we start, do we have to ban Dixie Vodka now as a sponsor, because the word Dixie may have uncomfortable tones? By the way, Dixie Vodka is not just a sponsor of the race. They're the official vodka of NASCAR.
Oh, yeah. Dixie the official vodka. Yeah, when I think of NASCAR, I think of vodka.
Right. You don't think of PBR. Right. And then one more They Did What that kind of ties into this. Coca-Cola spends a lot of money to go out there and support organizations. Well, someone tweeted that said, hey, everybody, because Coca-Cola said, hey, we're proud of all of our drivers. We're proud of the fight against racism. We're proud of everything. Someone tweeted out and says, that's great, but don't forget that Coca-Cola was founded by Confederate soldier John Pemberton, who, by the way, owned 2 slaves. So the owner of Coca-Cola at the time was a Confederate general in the Army. And so, I mean, if we start doing things like this, the whole thing just makes me smile, because it's like, who would have thought that we'd be speaking about the rebel flag on a race sponsored by Dixie Vodka. And again, these are just things, Brian, as we finish up this segment, that as a leader make you say,
they did what? What, Pete? What is that music?
I thought we were going to talk about another They Did What, but apparently not, Brian. Because you know what time it is, buddy.
What time is it?
Let me see you in the tweets. Let me see you in the comments. Let me hear in the comments what you want right now, because we're not going to do it unless you tell us. We need it. Oh, yeah. It's time for everybody's favorite leadership statistics game show from Television City in Hollywood. Please welcome Brian Foggy for Over and Under.
Treadville went with 100% already. Treadville is over. I'll tell you that right now.
What's up, Brian? Get us out of the politics. Get us
Oh.
into something a little more fun, my friend.
Well, it's interesting that you said to get us out of politics because we're going right back into politics.
Let's
However, I will qualify. Today's over-under focuses on office politics.
Oh, well
Not politics
done.
in the office, but office politics.
Well done.
So that's what we're going to talk about here on everybody's favorite leadership statistics game show, Over Under. And for those of you who, there's the music. Yeah. So for those of you who are new, here's how it works. I'm going to present Pete with just a few interesting statistics related to office politics today. And he's going to have to decide if the actual number is over or under the number I give him. And we'd love for you to play along. So you can type in and you can call in. If anybody wants to
call in as well.
You could play live over under. And Pete and I do talk for a few minutes before the show, but I've kept all of these statistics hidden from Pete. So he's hearing these for the first time.
Let's be very clear. When Brian and I say we talk before the show, it goes like this. Dude, I can't hear you. Dude,
What?
Can you hear me? Dude.
No.
Oh, no.
What?
Dude, we're on in 4 minutes. No,
Are
I
you
can't.
on?
Wait. What do you,
But
get?
the music. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. That was good.
Hey, yeah, that's very funny. Hey, by the way, Michael G gives us an Office reference today, going old school to season 1 of the Office. When you say office politics, are you talking office or temporary workspace, as Dwight Schrute once had?
Yes.
Office or temporary workspace? All right, so go ahead. I'm ready. Bring it on, buddy.
So, yeah, we want to encourage everybody to play along. Feel free to give us a call or play along live and text in your answers as we try to guess over or under. And there it is. All right,
setup
so
for this game takes longer than the actual game itself.
all right, and that's all the time we have. So, all right, everybody. Like I said before, this isn't about politics, because Washington, D.C. is not the only place that's brimming with politics these days. Office politics was the subject of a recent survey developed by staffing firm Account Temps. You've heard of Account Temps.
I have.
So they came up with the survey, but it was actually conducted by an independent research firm and includes responses from more than 1,000 U.S. workers 18 years of age or older who are employed in office environments.
On behalf of every single organizational psychologist, I say that's a delicious sample size.
Isn't it? Yeah. Yes, so, 1, all right. So let's get to the first one. Pete, what was the percentage of working professionals who say they believe that office politics are indeed alive and well in the workplace? Is it over or under 75%?
Ah, doggone it. I'm not joking. I was going to think it's in the 70 percentile range. So I was hoping you were going to give me a number of 50 or 60. Do office politics, how many people think office politics exist right now? Is it over or under 75%? Michael G is over. Tradville is over. Buglet says over. My smoking hot wife, Sherry, is driving, so she cannot drive and text at the same time. So we will not take her answers. I'm going to go with everybody else, Brian. It's with everything going on right now, I would assume it's over. So I'm going to take over with the group.
Over 75%?
Yes.
The answer is 80% of working professionals say they believe that office politics are indeed alive and well in the workplace.
Let's segment this for a second, Brian. You work remotely. I sometimes work remotely a couple days a week. Do you think office politics goes up or goes down in a remote environment?
I think it goes down slightly in a remote environment, but I do
Okay.
believe it's still alive and well.
Yeah.
I think having the remote uh, work, I don't know, paradigm. I think that allows for a little bit less schmoozing and FaceTime with some of the leaders in your office, but I think it's still there. Your
Yeah.
thoughts?
I mean, it's still there, but I mean, you're right. When I see it down a little bit too, when everybody's in the office and you can do the backdoor conversations and you can run down to this office and have that, it's harder to have that type of stuff when you're all remote. It's hard to just FaceTime your boss and go, "Hey, just wanted to drop by and see what's up." See what's up. Um, Michael,
Michael G. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, no, you go ahead because my eyes are starting to go.
Down, but behind the scenes action is alive and well. And yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, it's still happening, but it may not be as much out there. All right, good. I am 1 for 1. Bring it on, buddy. I'm loving that one.
All right, so everybody, what do you think? Percentage of working professionals who said that playing office politics in their organization is, in fact, necessary to get ahead in their career.
I believe
So,
Tradville already answered that with 100%.
So so in the survey, what is the percentage of working professionals who said that playing office politics in their organization would be necessary to get ahead in their career? Over or under? Once again, 75%.
I'm going to answer it, and then I'm also going to give you my point of view afterwards, which might surprise you, Brian. What do y'all think? Y'all think over or under 75% for that office politics is necessary? Michael G says what? Sad but over. Your smoking hot wife says over. Other people say over. It is kind of funny that both of our wives are on the show. Why don't we just do a show with just them listening sometimes and just it could be just a 4-person show.
Because they don't want to do that.
Yeah, no, they have
they have enough of us once a week.
That is correct. That is correct. Everybody's going over, buddy. So I'm with you. I'm going over as well.
Yep, it's over, but only by 1%. The answer here is 76%. 76%. So 80% say they believe that office politics is alive and well, and 76% of those people, or 76% say that it's actually necessary to get ahead.
Yeah, and here's my take on this. While I wish we could live in a world free of office politics, it will always be there. And you can define it however you want, Brian. You can define it as backdoor dealings. I'm not talking, when I hear office politics, I don't think anything illegal, immoral, or unethical. I just think office politics to me means, yeah, you could send a memo to that person or send an email, but they never respond. So you've got to catch them at lunch. So make sure you can get into their break room to talk to them. Hey, that person doesn't take time to approve stuff. So make sure you get with that person to approve it. Hey, like mom's going to say no, dad's going to say yes. So make sure you know who dad is. That will never go away. So in my opinion, if it's going to be there, you have to what I call play the game. And I think some people go into work environments and stick by their guns and say things like, I am not going to play the office politics game. I refuse to do that. I'm going to speak my mind and say what I want and do what I want. And if the company doesn't like that, that's too bad. And those are the people sometimes that don't get promoted because I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying in organizations today, I just think that we have to learn as a professional how to play the office politics game. If you try to eliminate office politics, it'll never happen. That's just my 2 cents. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what your overall take is on office politics.
My overall take is very similar. I think that, and in this case, they actually defined office politics as anything from just gossip to to actually schmoozing and like you said, and not necessarily anything illegal, but it's favoritism and who's friends with whom, and which clique you're in.
Disney has a leadership competency. I'm sorry, that's not a leadership. Is it a competency? It used to be called demonstrate business savvy. some of our Disney workers could probably tell us if that's still actually out there or not. But to me, demonstrating business savvy is knowing who the players are in the room, knowing who are the decision makers, knowing, so just understanding the actual business behind it. Business savvy means you have to be, office politics savvy, politically savvy, understanding of the culture savvy. And so, I think it's just part of the organizations today. So, all right, buddy. Dude, we're all 2 for 2. Everybody's 2 for 2.
So, look, I love this part of the song. It just calms me right down. There's
but then what happens? But then it brings you right back up.
Let's do one more, but it's a 2-part question. Here we go. So actually 2 more. So percentage of working professionals in the survey who say they definitely play the game to get ahead. They definitely play the game, the office politics game, to get ahead. Do you think it's over or under 40%?
Okay. I'm going to say it's under. And I'm going to say it's under because I don't think people realize the importance of it. I think they may think that they're doing something wrong or dirty. I think that some people may not be coached on how to do it. I think some people may be scared. Buglet says over, though. Buglet's going with over. Michael Glaze thinks it's more than 40% who play the game. Tradville's with me on under. We've got a split decision now. We got a split decision.
All right,
what do you think,
so
Brian?
We're going to give the bell to those who said under. Under 40% of working professionals say they definitely play the game to get ahead. So, Pete, you're undefeated so far today.
I cannot believe this is my first time ever going 3 for 3, and you're going to ruin it by asking a stupid follow-up question that I know I'm going to get wrong.
Yeah,
what was
the
okay? Tradville also says people don't want to admit it. So in the survey, people may in the survey not have been answering this the right way and said, you know what, I'm not going to say it, but
there might be some nuance to that.
Good point. Good point.
So the number of people who actually said that they definitely play the game to get ahead is actually 16%.
That's
which may lead you to this next one. What is the percentage of working professionals who say they stay completely out of the fray? In other words, the polar opposite of the 16% who say they definitely play the game. These are the people who say they stay completely out of office politics. Is that over or under 40%?
These are the people who come to work and say, I want to come to work, I want to do my job, and I want to go home. I'm not playing the game. Wow, is it over or under 40? Those who say they're not playing the game at all. I don't know. Buglet says under. Michael Glaze says under. I'm going to Terry thinks it's more people. The people who are in the position they want don't have to play the game, so that's interesting. Great point, Michael. Tradville goes over. I'm going to go with Tradville today. I'm going to say it's got to be more than 40% who are just saying, nope, I'm not playing.
Yeah, you did it, Pete. 100%.
Nice. I'm going to get myself a T-shirt.
Well done. You got a T-shirt, Pete. A Leadership in Lives T-shirt for Pete because the answer is 43% of the survey respondents said they stay completely out of the fray, which is probably false.
And our buddy Tradville, like she says, she started out new when she was going to get them all right today. If you're 4 for 4 today, that is, gosh, you just know you have business savvy, if you will.
Demonstrating business savvy.
Yeah, I'll tell you, office politics, Brian, those were great questions today. The 43% does surprise me of people who just say, that's almost half of people who just say, I'm not playing the game, right? I'm just not doing it at all. Is that what you said? 43%?
43%.
Which means that 50 whatever percent of the people are the ones who are out getting, I wonder how many of those people are getting promoted and are looked at as high performers. And are they, I guess it depends on the company on how they're viewed. It depends on what's happening out there. Oh man, I don't know. Hey, nice job today, buddy. Appreciate it, man. Way to go. That was.
Oh, it sounds like we're being rewarded with a parade.
I am literally standing outside City Hall on Main Street, USA, where I just went into guest relations to complain that my popcorn was cold. They gave me a coupon for a free popcorn, and then I walk outside and there's a parade on Main Street, USA? Unbelievable. I must be at Disney World.
There are characters in the street. Some of my favorite ones are here. There goes Mary Poppins and Bert.
Hey, there's that dog and that bear. They look great.
The dog and the bear. That's an inside joke, everybody. We're going to be having lunch today, Pete. After the parade, we're going to have lunch at Tony's Town Square restaurant.
No way. I instead be walking to the end to go to the hot dog place. I believe it's called the Disney hot dog joint.
That's called Casey's.
Doggone it.
Oh, man.
Hey, I don't want to mess you up. And what's that?
Yeah, you're about to say it. My smoking
You're
hot white.
You're smoking hot wife's going to lunch with me. She doesn't want Italian today, buddy. She wants the hot dogs at the corner. Everybody, this is our segment called The Daily Disney. As you know, Brian and I worked at Disney for over 25 combined years. We love following the company. We love the things that they taught us. And while it's not a perfect organization, as no organization is, they do a lot of great things in the realm of leadership, customer engagement, employee engagement, and so on and so forth. So we're taking a little bit of time each show. Yes, Michael, you can still get a haircut at the barbershop for the low price of $39.95. Actually, I have no clue what a haircut is at the Main Street, but it's got to be in the...
It might be more.
It's not Supercuts.
No.
And you're also not getting the little shoulder massage after, I don't think, like you get it.
No, but you get the magic, Pete, the magic.
The magic is there of somebody throwing glitter in your hair. There's nothing more magical. All right, so we're going to talk about some great leader strategies today for just about 5 minutes. I'd like to get your take on this. If you would like to share your thoughts or call in and tell us what your thoughts. Here's today's great leader strategy from the wonderful world of Disney. It is number 3 out of 11. Ensure that cast members are knowledgeable about their roles. Ensure that cast members are knowledgeable about their roles. And again, cast members is just the word, Brian, that we use for employees. And all we're doing here as a leader in our leadership strategies is saying, if you've got employees who don't know the basics of their job, who don't know what they're doing, they can't provide the excellent guest service if you're not giving them the knowledge. So this sort of has a little bit of training and development background to it. But a lot of times we as leaders stand back and say, well, send them to a training class if they need that. Send them over to Disney University. Make them read a book. What we're saying with this leadership strategy is that's not always the job of HR and training and development. It's the manager's job. If you have direct reports at Disney or in any organization, you have to make sure that you are making sure that your employees know what they should do. So I'm going to share some of these statements with you, Brian, and you can go along, do a little true or false with me. Tell me if you agree, if you don't agree, or any stories you might have as we go through these. According to Tradville, the haircuts are $19.
Okay.
All right, so we just saved $20. All right, listen to this, Brian. Make sure you take the time to teach your cast members or your employees how and where to spend their time on the job. How and where to spend their time. Believe it or not, every organization, whether you're in manufacturing and you're in healthcare or you're in a service organization, there are some slow times, believe it or not. Sometimes it's not in my organization, but even at Disney, sometimes there are some slow times. And you have to teach your employees how and where to spend their time on the job. What do you do when it's busy? What do you do when it's slow? Where do you stand at certain, areas? I use this example a lot, but I see it in grocery stores a lot. They tell, at least where I work, the cashiers, if nobody's in line, you go and stand at the end.
Yeah.
Right. You stand at the end and you welcome people into. They could just have them all waiting behind there. They also, when people aren't coming out, I always see them cleaning. They'll get out some of the spray stuff and clean off all of their little aisles and things. So everybody should be taught what to do, at their station. Where do you go?
If you got time to lean, you got time to clean.
We've all learned that. And again, people like to stand around and talk to each other and all that, but cast members need to know that particular one. Here's another one for you, Brian. Cast members should know the business and the strengths and the opportunities for improvement. A lot of times, we as leaders don't share the business rationale with our employees. We don't share, what are the strengths and opportunities. We just tell them just to do it and don't tell them the why behind it. So
Gotta
they
know
need
the
to
why
know
behind the decisions.
Yes. I mean, that's a big one for managers to actually train them. Here's a good one for you, Brian. Did you work in operations at Disney? Were you always in HR? You did some operations work, didn't you?
I
For like cross
only during cross utilization opportunities. Yeah.
Yeah. Cross use is where all of us go out into the parks during busy times and take operational shifts, like, food carts and custodial and working attractions and kind of all that kind of stuff. Okay, sidebar story here. So one of my cross utilizations, Brian, one day when I was working in human resources was I was assigned to Space Mountain. And boy, was I excited, man. I got to the Magic Kingdom. I walked in. I put on my beautiful blue smock, if you will.
Yeah.
And they said, Pete, we're going to assign you to Space Mountain for the next, 8 hours because it was a full day. I'm like, yes. And so I envision myself, Brian, in Space Mountain behind the thing, dispatching the rockets.
Right.
Either I'm going, how many in your party? Load in here. Or I'm at the rockets going, boom, enjoy your flight. Boom, enjoy your flight. And I'm ready. They walk me out to Space Mountain. We come up from the Utilidor into the park, and the line for Space Mountain is, when I get there, all the way out. This is back before Fast Pass, all the way out of Space Mountain.
Yeah.
And there's a gentleman, cast member, standing there holding a sign that says, wait time from this point, 120 minutes.
Oh,
and she goes, Pete, you'll be relieving Tom. Tom, you come with me. And I go, well, how long am I going to be here? And she goes, well, this is what you'll be doing all day.
What?
So I'm standing there holding hello, hi, yes, 120 minutes. Yes, 120 minutes from this. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's
That's
busy
the most
today. Yes,
popular
ma'am,
job in the park right there.
I'm sorry, sir. What's that? Yeah, no, 2 hours from this spot. Yes, I'm sorry. It's busy today. What's that? I'm sorry. Yes, from this spot, 2 hours. Yes, I'm sorry. Hi, how are you? Hi. Yeah, 2 hours. Yeah, from here. Yes, I know. Hi. Oh my word. It's, so Cross U is a great way to actually learn the business. And again, as a leader to actually understand. And you've probably got a million stories as well.
One of my favorite ones that most people here on the podcast don't know, but you'll probably remember, is Pete and I used to actually work together. We're not just people who met on Facebook and both worked at Disney. We actually shared an office at one point, and taught together and design programs, helped design programs together, etc. But one of the cross U's, we went together over to the Magic Kingdom. Do you remember this? And
yes.
We were going to be in food and beverage, and we were both pretty excited about this and what kind of opportunities this was going to lead to, because as cross utilizations go, we sit behind a desk all day and we get out there and be with the guests. And
yes.
So they took us back to the kitchen and they introduced us to a cast member who'd been there for 30 years. And she took me and she says, you're going to help me make pizzas. And I said, sweet, I'm making pizzas. And I believe they took you and said, you're going to collect trays from the dining room. And I felt bad for you, Pete, but I learned how they made pizzas, and it's very meticulous back there. And boy, those employees sure take pride in their work.
They sure do, because again, you know what? I have to be honest. I did blank that one out, pun intended. But I do remember now walking around, and the whole time I was so jealous because the trays people leave their ketchup on them and they're nasty, and you have no idea what people go through. It gives you a good respect, not just for what the guest experience is, but for the cast members as well. So here's my last point on this one, Brian. Make sure every cast member knows what we are famous for and how important it is to do these things exceptionally well. So as a leader, we think about train the skills. You need to know the technical skills. If you're an accountant, you have to know accounting. If you're in human resources, you got to know human resources. If you're in operations or food, you have to know that line of work. But as a leader, do your people know, what are you famous for? And how important is it? Like, Disney's known for customer service. So yes, we want to do our job well, but the customer experience has to be there. 10-minute oil change places. People need to know that we brand ourselves 10 minutes. So it's not just about getting the best oil and the best this. You've got to do it in 10 minutes or less. Other companies, healthcare facilities. It's important to keep people healthy, but what are we known for in the community? What's our brand? What's our vision? So I think that's the soft side of leadership that people don't appreciate sometimes, that make sure every employee knows this is what we're famous for. We're famous for this item on our menu. Don't be out there if someone says, hey, I'm thinking about getting your key lime pie. And you're like, I know it says it's world famous key lime pie, but I got to be honest, I've had better. They need to know what you stand behind and kind of what you're.
This is honestly, all three of these that you had today are a good example of how, as people are listening, they might be saying, well, this is common sense, right? Yeah. But one of the great things about Disney learning and development is that, it is common sense, but we're going to codify it. We're actually going to, we're going to train on this and right. Because we don't want anybody to miss it. And common sense for me might not be common sense for you. And so, we're going to actually put it right out there. Like, yes, an employee must know how to actually do their job and what to do, how to do their job and how to act in their job.
It's vitally
the brand
important.
and everybody needs to understand their role in the show, as it were.
We've got a new listener, Space PP. So maybe they worked at Space Mountain, or maybe they just Space PP. Says, hey, they're a big fan. They're listening today. So thank you, Space PP. Thank you for kind of being with us today and kind of working through all these things that we have talked about today. I think Brian is going to finish up today as we're getting close to the end of our time. Brian, you're going to finish with maybe a did you know of some kind?
Yeah, did you know? So when we go back to our over-under statistics and talking about office politics, the percentage of people who said that politicking is very necessary to get ahead in this survey is actually up twice as much. Twice as many people said that politics is necessary to get ahead as the number of people who said that when the survey was taken in 2012. So it seems to be getting more necessary.
So how many years is that? That's math.
8 years.
8 years. So in 8 years, we've doubled the amount of people who think office politics is
necessary to get ahead.
Like we said, it's not going away anytime soon, man. It's not. It's crazy. We had a lot of good listeners today, buddy. We had Buglet on, Terry was here, Tradville, Michael, Anthony, Sherry, Joseph
Space PP
was in the house. Space PP spent some time with us. We appreciate y'all. We like doing this. Hey, big announcement coming in the future, possibly.
Ooh.
Do we want to drop a hint?
Yeah, well, just that was a good hint right there. We're going to have a big announcement.
The Leadership and Laugh with Pete and Brian has got a huge announcement coming this week or next week. Wait, just be on the edge of your seats. You just wait. It's going to knock your socks off. Actually, it'll probably have very little impact on your life whatsoever.
Except that it may remove your socks.
Oh, well done. Give yourself a bell as we finish. Thanks, everybody, for listening today. This has been another great way to start our Wednesday. I'm Pete.
And I'm Brian, who was drinking some water.
All right, we'll see y'all next week. Thanks, everybody.